CM Punk was waiting by the gate for Seth Rollins to show up. And eventually throughout the night, you get Rhea Ripley visiting and sort of making herself the red herring for this angle. If it's anybody but AJ Lee, all due respect to Rhea Ripley, all due respect to anybody, it's a disappointment. Had a full report on FightfulSelect.com on this. I encourage you guys to support original coverage and check it out. But CM Punk finds out that Seth Rollins has somehow snuck into the building. So he goes out and he says that he'll just hold the show hostage until it is that he sees Seth Rollins. But instead he gets Becky Lynch. And this freaking Becky Lynch promo was so unbelievably good. I shouldn't say unbelievably good because she's incredible. She's fantastic. Sometimes I think the world forgets who Becky Lynch is. And Becky Lynch is like reading him the riot act. You know, she's saying things like, my husband is things that you'll never be. He's hot. He's jacked. He's talented. And Punk is like, all right, come on. And then she goes, and he never interrupts me like you. And Punk fires back with, wish he would. That way he can come out here. And then Becky really lets CM Punk have it. And what I will say is that a lot of this was rooted in true feelings, as was much of the Seth Rollins CM Punk feud. Now, clearly, all of these parties are professional to a level of which they are working together. And Becky is out there doing promos with him. Seth Rollins and CM Punk had an incredible feud. But I would imagine that this was incredibly cathartic for Rebecca Lopez. Channeling and playing Becky Lynch, the character. She was like, you know, it's not just my husband that was affected by you walking out 10 years ago and his matches and his plans and his career. She's like, it was me that you affected because while I was out there trying to make a name for myself and working my ass off, it was your name that they chanted to let me know that I didn't matter to them, that they didn't care about me, that they didn't want to see me wrestle. They didn't care who I was. And man, I felt like the point was reinforced when the crowd chanted that and CM Punk held the mic up and said, well, yeah, that's because I'm the best in the world. So tough. And you are in a situation where the heel had some really, really good points. To me, it is a beautiful feud for a couple of reasons. Seth Rollins was right to be frustrated with CM Punk, to not like CM Punk, to feel some sort of pride in the torch that he carried. CM Punk leaving WWE, if you ever listen to the Colt Cabana podcast, it's one of the best podcasts in wrestling history. CM Punk had really good reasons for wanting to leave. Seth Rollins had reasons to want to wave that WWE flag and say, well, you're trying to send us out of business, blah, 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 all that, really take it to that next level. And then you came crawling back because they didn't want you anymore. There are some real things rooted in that. And CM Punk is like, well, you should have just forgotten about it and got over it because I did, and now I'm back. And that's just not how everybody deals with things. Absence doesn't always make the heart grow fonder. And Becky Lynch, the character, has been waiting to say this to CM Punk for a very, very long time. This was fantastic. And I know I see the person saying, you went to, like, going back to the well of you left us. It isn't the you left us here. It is the you leaving us led to massive disrespect to an entire gender of performers. Because even when they were trying to get stuff cooking with the women, they were met with CM Punk chants. So Seth Rollins does make an appearance on the stage, but as CM Punk turns around, Becky Lynch slaps him repeatedly, like trying to get him to attack her, to do something. Like she slaps him like 15 times, pushes him on the shoulder, all that. Drives her head into his chest. It is as obnoxiously disrespectful as she could possibly make it. Becky played this so well. And the crowd's chanting for AJ Lee, and she's like, she doesn't work here. But CM Punk just looks at her and says, your husband is going to regret cashing in on me, and you are going to regret putting your hands on me. Backstage, he asks Adam Pearce, where's SmackDown this Friday? Adam Pearce says, Chicago, Illinois. That is where CM Punk and AJ Lee live. So, what we reported on Fightful Select yesterday, people that I had spoke to said that there had absolutely been pitches regarding AJ Lee. It had gained more traction than it had gained in years. People have been trying to get AJ Lee to come out of retirement for a long time. Wow Women of Wrestling tried it. She said, no, don't want to do that. Please don't ask again. People in AEW would sort of needle CM Punk about it. And I think that the way that I took it is that he always kind of saw it as a, like, if she wants to come back, she will. Leave me alone about it type of thing. And I understand that. I understand that people in WWE have done that as well. But there is certainly more traction on it now than there has ever been. If it were Rhea Ripley or Bayley, you wouldn't need to wait until Chicago to do it, right? You wouldn't need to hold off before doing it. Dylan Goodridge says they should have done the return with the Europe crowd. I disagree. I think that Chicago, where AJ Lee lives, is the perfect place to do it. And I think that anything short of an AJ Lee return at this stage is a disappointment for this. I also think that CM Punk would feel very, very satisfied about he and his wife taking on Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins at WrestlePalooza, which, again, pretty close geographically, but is right up against AEW All Out, right? Like, maybe a little bit of him inside his heart's like, yeah, let's do it then, too. It just makes an awful lot of sense, right? Now, what you're going to see on Twitter is a bunch of the most zero news, boozer-ass coded language and posts ever. But, I mean, there's more traction to this than there has been in recent years. You're going to see all the people saying, slide it up, stuff like that. But right now, there is a lot more traction to this than there ever has been since she's been gone. Like, when I asked people in AEW, hey, do you think that it's going to happen? The girls there were like, no, we don't. We don't think it's going to happen, because it felt like the people that I would ask, you could tell that Punk had, like, it's like people going up to Cody and doing a Dusty impersonation. You know what I mean? How many times do you think he's heard a Dusty impersonation in his life? I bet CM Punk has had so many women in wrestling be like, oh, AJ, let's get AJ out of retirement. It's easier said than done. Now, if that woman comes back to TV, she is going to look every bit of the TV star she always did. The people I talked to that worked with her on Heels said that she seemed nervous upon doing like in-ring stuff again, but then when she got in there, it was like she didn't miss a beat, right? Ah, man. And again, like I don't think that a lot of people really understand the scope and how important AJ Lee was as a character. Because I understand there's a lot of people right now that were like, if you're 21, 22 watching this show, you were like a 9, 10-year-old, maybe not even interested in wrestling yet, when AJ Lee was the main character of WWE Monday Night Raw. And she helped a number of people get over. She was immensely influential to just the character development of a wealth of current female performers that, quite frankly, they didn't have a lot of the in-ring on WWE in the women's side to look to. You'd have to turn on TNA and watch Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and people like that. In America, I should say. But you watch AJ Lee, and she was cutting those promos and she was doing that character work. She was involved in the men's storylines as well. She showed a lot of different layers to a personality that I think was a big catalyst in the demand for the women's revolution as we know it in pro wrestling. And I said this last night, I do not feel like she got to enjoy the fruits of a lot of the work that she did. She left just before it really, really started to take off. And I would have really liked if she got to enjoy a lot of the results of much of the work that she put in to help facilitate such a change. And I hope that now she does, assuming she wants to. But also, like, I'm going to have more on this on Fightful Select as well. Talk to a lot of women in the company that are pretty pumped about this, about the likelihood that this happened.